How do you stay up to date in your business if you're several decades old? It's next. Being in business for several decades has to be a challenge. We're here with the Vice President and General Manager of Hackworth Printing, Charles Hackworth. How are you?
Doing good. How about you?
Pretty good. Your parents started the business?
So I grew up in a previous business, printing company,
Okay.
and that was my parents' business. Hackworth, we started together. That company was a long story, but we had merged that company with another company, and the merger didn't last very long. And so I was out of college. We were trying to figure out what to do, and we went back into business, the three of us, and started Hackworth. That was 1991.
How did you decide to keep the family name as the business name?
The family name was purely kept because the previous company was a totally different name, totally different entity. And we thought the best way for all of our previous clients to know that we were back in business as a printing company was to use the last name of Hackworth. And so when people would see the car driving down the road, see Hackworth, and call the office and say, hey, glad you guys are back in business. Didn't know. So it really was just about getting our name back out in front of our clients from the previous company and letting them know we were back in business.
So it's been a few decades now. You guys have
26 years.
You guys have been around.
Yeah.
Things have changed from those days. You guys started with blueprints?
Yeah, we started as a blueprinter or reprographer. So officially the name is Hackworth Reprographics. We've dropped the reprographics over the last few years. But yeah, architects, engineers, contractors, house plans, construction drawings, some of the buildings here in downtown Norfolk we did the printing for back when they were built. That's how we started. And everything back then was manual. We didn't use computers, there weren't software programs, color was almost non-existent. And so all that has changed. Everything now is digital and computers and software. And
How hard is it as a company to invest or accept that what you started with has and is and will continue to change, and if you don't, you might die?
Yeah, I mean, there's really no choice in it. The technology, the industry has evolved. We've been very, very fortunate to sometimes be a little ahead of the curve. We have tried a few things that just failed, so we've learned some valuable lessons through our failures.
Like what? What failed?
3D printing in early 2000. We were a little ahead of the game there. So that
Too expensive at that point?
Yeah, it just didn't catch on. It was it was a new technology. It was somewhat cutting edge at the time. And so we got into it, thought we had done our due diligence to get clients on board with it, but once we started getting it up and running, it just was cost prohibitive to do at that time. So,
do you guys have a line item in your budget for risky things that you're going to try?
No, we don't. We're very active in industry associations. We send our people for a lot of training and certifications. So we're just very active in the industry that we're in. And so part of co-ops and groups, we go to a lot of conventions. So we're pretty good at keeping abreast of what's going on in the business, what other people are doing in other areas.
So you do that to stay on top of kind of best practices?
Correct.
From a marketing perspective locally, what are some of the things that have worked well for you guys?
The one is just our delivery fleet. We have Hackworth plastered on about 20 different vehicles. One of the services we offer is vehicle wraps. So all the vehicles are wrapped in different types of wraps, different designs, things of that nature. So people are always telling me, I saw your truck. I'm like, which one? So we get a lot of that. We have a full-time marketing director on staff, and so we're doing email blasts, we're doing trade shows, we're doing sales blitzes. We've done mailers, we've tried it all. I'm not saying we're still doing all those things because, again, failure, some of those things did not work as well.
So one thing that I thought was interesting is that the meat case dividers in a grocery store, you guys print and get out there. How did you guys kind of establish that was something that you could print, knowing that it's so deep in a grocery store?
Yeah, so we only have a few minutes, so I'm going to try to cut this really short. Part of the growth we also had is not just with the marketing, but we've been fortunate. About 6 years ago, we were able to purchase, a friend of mine was closing a sign shop. We were able to purchase those assets. And in that sign shop, he had a department that did screen printing. And not screen printing apparel, t-shirts, but screen printing industrial signage. And they had a business that it involved case dividers, and that's how we really inherited that. I had never thought about it when you walk past the meat, the meat section in a grocery store, the Smithfield or the Tyson chicken or whatever it might be, those dividers where the meat, divides the Tyson chicken from the Smithfield ham or whatever. And they did that, and we still do that today, but there are companies all around the country that we're printing literally thousands of meat case dividers, and we're shipping them out around the country. But we inherited that through an acquisition. We have a shop up in William and Mary, and that came through a contract through another vendor that we partnered with. So we've been fortunate. We're right now expanding into Maryland on our equipment division, and that came through a partner that unfortunately went out of business last year. We inherited his client base and some of his employees, and so it's some of it's been marketing, some of it's just been good timing and situations that have just gone our way.
Charles Hackworth.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah.